The battlefield doesn't play fair, and neither does the A-10 Warthog. Ukraine recently got a jaw-dropping look at this heavily upgraded flying tank, and let's just say the world collectively gulped. This isn't your granddad's Warthog. This is the Super A-10, souped up, rearmed, and ready to crash the party like a tank-busting DJ at a tea ceremony. So what makes this old-school airframe suddenly the nightmare fuel of modern warfare? Strap in, we're diving into the story of how the flying gun just refused to die and came back even scarier. Worn ugly, raised to wreck. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, lovingly nicknamed the Warthog, entered military service in 1976. It wasn't sleek, it wasn't fast, and it sure didn't turn heads for its looks. But boy, could it blow things up. Unlike high-speed jets zipping past targets like they're late for brunch, the A-10 cruises at a leisurely 350 miles per hour. That slow speed isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It lets the aircraft loiter low and close to the action, raining 30mm tell from its Gall-8 Avenger cannon. That's a 7-barrel rotary cannon, and yes, it's bigger than some cars. The Warthog can take hits that would turn most jets into flaming scrap metal, thanks to its titanium bathtub that protects the pilot like a medieval knight in a flying fortress. If Bruce Willis was a plane, he'd be the A-10. From underdog to battlefield king. At first, fighter jocks weren't exactly thrilled to fly the A-10. It wasn't pretty or fast, which apparently are important things when you're trying to look cool in a flight suit. But everything changed when the Warthog proved its worth on the battlefield. It got its first real taste of war in 1983 during Operation Urgent Fury in Grenada, though it didn't see much action. That changed big time in the Gulf War of 1991. Suddenly, the so-called ugly duckling was the belle of the desert ball. Out of 132 A-10s deployed, 4 were shot down, but the rest went full beast, modern, hitting Iraqi armor, blowing up Scud missile sites, and flying over 8,100 missions. One pilot even shot down a helicopter with the Avenger cannon. Because why not? Mission after mission, war after war, from Bosnia in the 1990s to Kosovo in 1999 and Afghanistan and Iraq in the 2000s. The A-10 just wouldn't stop showing up to every major US conflict like the world's deadliest party crasher. In Afghanistan alone, A-10s flew up to 34,500 missions per year from 2009 to 2012. Even when fancier aircraft like the F-15E and B-1B tried to hog the spotlight, the Warthog was still stealing the show in the close air support department. In fact, it handled nearly 20% of all U.S. close air missions in Iraq and Afghanistan during that period. The F-16 flew slightly more, but let's face it, the Warthog brought the boom in ways that made ground troops feel all warm and fuzzy inside. The Air Force tried to break up. Congress said no. By the 2010s, the Air Force decided the A-10 was outdated and wanted to swap it out for the newer, sleeker F-35 Lightning II. But this wasn't your average tech upgrade. This was like trading in a battle axe for a Swiss Army knife. You can do more stuff, sure, but sometimes you just need to smash. Congress wasn't buying it. Many lawmakers had served in or alongside the A-10 and weren't keen on saying goodbye to the one aircraft that had saved so many lives. If the Air Force wanted to retire it, they had to prove the F-35 could do the same job better. It couldn't. So instead of a farewell party, the A-10 got a makeover. The Super A-10 Warthog. Enter suite upgrades literally. With programs like Suite 8, 9, and 10, the Warthog went from battle-hardened veteran to cybernetic killing machine. Suite 8 gave it a new voice and ears communication systems that could coordinate with special ops and down pilots better than your iPhone with Wi-Fi. Then it got standoff weapons so it could destroy stuff without having to get up close and personal. Then came Suite 9, upgraded situational awareness, digital target verification, and a new targeting system that reduced friendly fire and made bombing smarter. Basically, the Warthog stopped guessing and started getting it right every time. Suite 10, Beast Mode activated. The next phase turned this airborne bruiser into something terrifying. Suite 10 packed it with AGR-20 rockets that could reload 4 times faster, joined direct attack munition M kits that made dumb bombs smart, and small diameter bombs that could hit multiple targets in one go. It could wipe out 18 targets in a single pass. Let that sink in. To top it off, pilots got Hobbit helmets. Okay, not really, but these next-gen headgear systems tracked head movements to aim weapons faster than ever before. It was like giving the A-10 a set of magic glasses, and it used them with deadly precision. The face-off, A-10 versus F-35. When Congress asked for a duel between the Warthog and the F-35, the Air Force reluctantly agreed, kind of. Rumors spread that the tests were rigged in the F-35's favor, excluding situations where the A-10's strengths would shine. It was like having a foot race but not allowing the A-10 to use its legs. To be fair, the F-35 is an amazing piece of machinery. It's fast, stealthy, and high-tech. But when it comes to close air support, the down and dirty stuff where boots are on the ground and bullets are flying, it just doesn't loiter like the A-10. That's not an insult. It's just not designed to hub the battlefield the way the Warthog does. And let's not forget, the F-35 program has a $400 billion price tag. That's not a jet. That's a flying vault with wings. A legacy with battle scars. The A-10 has survived more than just war zones. In 1988, one crashed into an apartment building in Germany. In 1997, a pilot flew off course and crashed into a Colorado mountain in what was ruled a suicide while carrying bombs that were never recovered. And during Operation Iraqi Freedom, a friendly fire incident killed a British soldier and wounded 5 more. From 2010 to 2015, no other U.S. aircraft was linked to more civilian casualties in Afghanistan. It's proof that even legends have shadows. But it's also proof of how vital improvements like digital targeting and coordination systems were. The upgrades weren't just bells and whistles, they were life-saving changes. Still flying, still fighting. By 2018, the Warthog was back in Afghanistan. And in 2022, when Russia rolled into Ukraine, Ukrainian officials practically begged for 100 of them. The Pentagon refused, calling the A-10 too vulnerable to modern Russian defenses. But that didn't stop the beast. In 2024, it was back in Syria, blowing up mortar teams and even taking out an old Soviet T-64 tank. By December, it joined forces with B-52s and F-15s in a coordinated strike that wiped out 75 Islamic State of Iraq and Syria targets in days. Old? Maybe. Irrelevant? Not even close. Suite 11, the digital revolution. If you thought the upgrades were done, think again. At Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, the Air Force kicked off Suite 11, a turbocharged evolution that gave the Warthog a 3D surround sound cockpit, high-res 11.6-inch display, and jam-proof GPS. Even the radio got a makeover with ARC 210 systems, and Boeing handed over 173 new wing sets that could handle 10,000 flight hours like a boss. Another 112 are on the way. The A-10 is now as digitally capable as any modern fighter, with data link systems that let multiple Warthogs sync in real time. That means less guesswork, faster kills, and more battlefield harmony. It's like giving an old war dog a smartphone and teaching it kung fu. Never bet against the hog. So here we are, nearly 50 years since the A-10 first took flight, and it's still flying circles around expectations. It may not have the stealth of the F-35 or the budget of a Marvel movie, but when it comes to supporting troops and breaking enemy lines, there's still nothing quite like it. Congress wanted proof that the Warthog deserved to stay. They got it wrapped in titanium, loaded with lasers, and piloted by legends. The Super A-10 isn't a relic, it's a revelation. And the next time it shows up on the battlefield, it won't be asking for permission. What do you think? Team Warthog or Team Lightning? Drop your thoughts below, and while you're here, why not ride the GAW-8 train all the way to the subscribe button? Like the video if you think slow and steady really does win the war, and hit that bell so you never miss a moment of military madness. Because when the Warthog roars, the battlefield listens.